Tolerance is like we don't have enough tolerance in the world today. People that, all the trouble that we have, there's no tolerance at all.
It's essentially putting up with other people even if you don't necessarily agree with them.
It's something that you know it's going on, and you just deal with it.
Acceptance.
I like to think about it, I mean, there's a lot of different things of tolerance. Like, I like to think about it like, tolerance for others or for certain things that are going on in your life at the time,
Reasonably.
Do you think I'm a tolerant person?
Yes.
I think if it's an infraction of your natural rights as a human being, you probably shouldn't tolerate it.
Well, we shouldn't tolerate the crap that's going on in the world today because
That runs the gamut from yes to no.
well, some of them maybe, it's like they're really into too much of how you look instead of just going to church.
Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is like a man who planted good seed in his field, but when he was away, an enemy came and planted weed. Then the enemy went away, and the weed and the good seed both grew up, and the servants noticed both growing together and said, "Master, someone has sowed weeds among your good seed. Do you want us to pull the weeds?" And the master said, "No, let them both grow together, for in pulling the weeds you might also pull out some of the good wheat. Instead, let them both grow together, and at harvest I will tell the reapers to separate the wheat from the weeds. I'll bring the wheat into my barn, and the weeds I'll remove to be burned." You've seen it before, haven't you? We try to get rid of one sin within the church, and we end up removing a bunch of people with that sin. By focusing on eradicating the sin, sometimes we pull out people. Weeds are a problem, no doubt. They're a part of this world, and in this world, good seed and weeds are growing side by side. And yes, weeds are dangerous. Last week, in the parable of the sower, we saw that weeds are a threat to the life of good seed. At the same time, however, this week we see that an emphasis on removing and pulling weeds is a threat to the good seed. But I want to make one caveat, because there are a few people in this world, and I thank God that they are a small minority, but there are a few people in this world that are simply abusive and predatory, and they only want to hurt people, or they only do hurt people. Those people might appeal to this text in an attempt to hold on to their power so that they could continue to hurt people. I want you to be tolerant Christians. I want you to tolerate sinful people. But we have to stand against and stop those who would pluck the weeds. We tolerate sinful people, but we stand against abusive people. Let me finish with two personal confessions. The first thing that I need to admit is that there have been times when I have wanted to remove people from our church, maybe even some of you watching this video today. And there's a very real chance that I'd remove good seed along with those things that bothered me. I know it's wrong. But if the temptation is real for me, it's probably also real for you. And we know better than to just tell people to get out, but sometimes we make people feel unwelcome with a few hastily chosen words, or a look, or even a tone, body language. And actually, sometimes we don't even have to do that. If a person is already uncomfortable, anything short of a sincere welcome will make them feel unwelcome. Let's not pull weeds. My second confession is another one that's probably also true for you. There have been times that my behaviors, my thoughts, my actions looked more like weed than wheat. And I thank God that the churches that I was a part of were, for the most part, patient with me during those times. When you're tempted to pull a weed, remember the times when you looked weedy. Be patient. A tolerant Christian is a patient Christian. We serve a God who is patient with us. And we are growing in God's field.